Sherrone Moore allegedly threatened to kill himself with butter knives at woman's home. Did anyone ever tell him that it's extremely hard to cut anything with butter knives except butter?
Former Michigan coach Sherrone Moore appeared via video conference in a Michigan courtroom today. He has been charged with felony home invasion and misdemeanor counts of stalking and breaking and entering. Moore's bond has been set at $25,000. He's been in jail since Wednesday, hours after he was fired for having an inappropriate relationship with a staff member.
It's not about the cheating on your wife or the alleged cheating on your wife. Nobody cares about that. Your vows of fidelity, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Your job as a head coach still had about $12 million left to pay out. Now they don't have to give you a dime. This has to be one of the most expensive pieces of trim in recent history. See, people sleep with each other on the job all the time. They're not supposed to, but they do it anyway. And it's always one of you tender dick ass dudes that make it a volatile situation, especially coming off a bowl win in 2024. You had control of your own destiny. Sherrone Moore allegedly went to the home of a woman he's accused of stalking and threatened to take his own life with butter knives. Though it just seems so time consuming. Like, you would most likely change your mind halfway through the process before you even broke the skin after he was fired as the University of Michigan's head football coach on December 10th. Prosecutor Katie Resmierski detailed the incident as Moore, 39, made his first court appearance where he was arraigned on charges of felony home invasion, misdemeanor stalking, and breaking and entering. Prior to arriving at the home of the alleged victim, Moore learned that he was being fired by the school for engaging in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member, according to University of Michigan interim president Domenico Grasso. Now, they're being very tap dancey with the wordage around here, inappropriate relationship, but 9 times out of 10, you don't break something off with someone that you're not sleeping with. Go Buckeyes! Too soon? The optimist in me believes he could have survived this and kept his job if he wouldn't have crashed out when the woman that's not his wife anyway broke things off. Things are actually going to go back to normal, as they should. You had a good time. You can't hold on to this woman forever. Keep your wife and your job. It's a juggling act. She actually gave you the easy out here. Now I'm just speculating, but he had to make her feel like just breaking it off wouldn't be enough for her to air it all out like this and in turn expose herself to her employer by having to come to them for help. The identity of that individual is not being named at this time, but Resmierski said in court, our victim broke up with a defendant on Monday morning. She eventually presented herself to the University of Michigan and cooperated in some form of investigation there. Now, 9 times out of 10, 9.9 times out of 10, you don't break up with someone, or you don't feel the need to have to break up with someone unless you're intimately involved with them.
Take a look at the timeline of events that led to the arraignment today. Moore fired as Michigan's coach just on Wednesday with cause for him having that inappropriate relationship. He was then arrested later that afternoon and charged with felony home invasion and the misdemeanors of stalking and breaking and entering.
And as far as her, she shouldn't have been messing with him the same way he shouldn't have been messing with her. Michigan is probably like, we'll help you out until all this is out of the media's eye to keep this from getting any worse. But you've been, to say the very least, compromised. Resmierski went on to tell the judge that once Moore arrived at the home and allegedly forced his way inside, he grabbed butter knives and scissors while threatening to take his own life. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to make you watch. I don't have the time to watch you try to saw through your arm with a butter knife, buddy. My blood is on your hands. You ruined my life, Moore allegedly told the woman, according to Resmierski. After making those statements, which Resmierski described as threatening, intimidating, and terrifying. Hell yeah, if you're a piece of toast or an English muffin, those statements are absolutely horrifying. The woman informed Moore that she was calling her attorney, said the prosecutor. Upon hearing this, Moore allegedly fled the scene, according to Resmierski. Meanwhile, the alleged victim's lawyer notified law enforcement of what had just occurred. So the question is, why not call law enforcement right away? I don't know. First off, don't ever threaten to kill yourself over your side chick or your main chick. Whose mans is this? And you played your best card pathetically. Those butter knives was all you had on someone you don't even have to come home to. Where do you go from there? You have absolutely no leverage from that diminished position that you placed yourself in. Less than an hour later, dispatch sent out a notice about an individual with the same car and license plate number as Moore, who was reportedly having suicidal ideations at a church about 15 miles from the victim's home, according to dispatch audio obtained by People. Jail records show that Moore was booked into custody with the Washtenaw Corrections Division around 8:30 p.m. Wednesday evening. Did you get the last trade, buddy? He was not charged, however, for 36 hours, and the counts being filed against him were not announced until just moments before his arraignment. Moore's attorney, Joseph Simon, who did not respond to a request for comment, said in court that he had yet to see a police report before the hearing.
The prosecutor in the case recounted the timeline of what happened after the firing of Sherrone Moore. And that included Moore going to the home of his former mistress, who had broken up with him earlier that week, quote, barging his way in. He went to the drawer in the kitchen, pulled out butter knives and kitchen scissors, and said, quote, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to make you watch. My blood is on your hands. You ruined my life. That obviously precipitated the call to the police, which led to Moore being arrested and jailed.
After hearing arguments, Moore was granted pretrial release with his bail set at $25,000. That release came with multiple conditions for Moore, who must wear a GPS tether ankle bracelet, continue to receive mental health treatment. Now they're going to try to say you got mental health issues, which might be a darker mark on your resume than whatever happened with this woman, and have no contact with the alleged victim. Moore will next appear in court on January 22nd for a probable cause hearing. He and wife Kelly Moore, he has a beautiful wife, have 3 young children, and he was 2 years into a 5-year contract at the University of Michigan when he was fired on December 10th with calls for allegedly violating school policy. That means the school will not be required to pay out the remaining 3 years of his contract, which is worth an estimated $12.3 million. Talk about fumbling the bag. Of course, I love to hear your thoughts on this. I love to hear your opinions on this. Have you ever heard of 2 people on your job sleeping with each other and things actually turned out well? Go Buckeyes.